Hello dear students, welcome to all of you again in my class. So I am here again to continue the chapter agriculture. In my previous lecture I taught you about the different type of agriculture practiced in our country, and I also discussed about the agricultural patterns followed by the Indian farmers. So dear students, today I am going to discuss about the important crops that grown in our country. Which type of food crops, other than food crops, some commercial crops, or even some fiber crops, or even the crops those who are required in industries, in agro-based industries. So today I will discuss this one by one. Okay, so let's start. First of all, the important crop that I am going to discuss, that is rice. You know, the rice is the staple food of our country. From north to south, from east to west, the maximum people of India, they use rice in their food, in their meal. And in our country, so many types of rice, means qualities of rice, basmati, or the local qualities, or even sharbati. So these kind of the qualities of rice we produce in our country. Then next, rice, what kind of climatic conditions required? So the climatic conditions that required for rice, they found in our country. It required hot and humid, or we can say the high temperature is required. It is required nearly 100 centimeter rainfall or above. Nearly 100 centimeter rainfall and above 100 centimeter rainfall is required for this rice cultivation, for paddy cultivation. And the temperature that is required, as we discussed earlier in previous lecture, rice comes under the kharif crop. So rice comes under the kharif crop, and this time it means it required the high temperature. It is required 30 to 35 degree Celsius temperature at the crop growing time, seed sowing time. And in our coastal area, as I told you earlier in previous lecture, we produce throughout the year rice in our coastal areas. And in our coastal areas, farmers took 3 crops of rice: As, Aman, Boro. And our coastal regions, both eastern coastal plains and western coastal plains, the coastal plains of Odisha, West Bengal, even Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Gujarat, Maharashtra, or even the states those who are required groundwater for irrigation, they also grow this crop. So in Haryana and Punjab, and if we talk about the UP, Uttar Pradesh, these states required the groundwater or river water or canal water for irrigation for this crop. And India is the second largest after China in rice production. Then second important crop of India is wheat. Wheat comes under Rabi crop season. So the temperature that requires here, it is nearly 15 degrees Celsius to, at the time of harvest the temperature is required nearly 3 degrees Celsius. Actually the temperature that I am writing here, it is not fixed. In some books it may be 20 to 35, or in some books it may be nearly 12, 13, 14. Means if we try to understand, at the time of seed sowing it required the less temperature, and at the time of harvesting it required high temperature, and it required nearly 75 centimeter annual rainfall, nearly, or we can say the average. And it produces well in the alluvial soil, loamy soil, or in other soils also, but the alluvial soil is best for the wheat cultivation, for the wheat crop. And Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, UP, or even some parts of South India, some areas of Western Ghat, we produce wheat there. And you know, the southern areas, in the maximum area of South India, in peninsular plateau region, we produces maximum rice, and wheat produces in the northern parts of India, because the northern parts they face the winter season, because wheat required the low temperature at the time of seed sowing. So Haryana, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, even some areas of Gujarat, Maharashtra, so these are the producers of wheat crop. Then our next crop is, that is millets. Under the millets, these are known as the coarse grain. Like jowar, bajra and ragi. I hope most of you are very well known about these two, jowar and bajra. These both are the food as well as fodder crops. So we can say the jowar is the third important food crop of Indian population, and next bajra and then ragi. These two crops, jowar and bajra, mostly grown in the different parts of country. These are the rain-fed crops. Rain-fed crops means those who required very less moisture or very less water for irrigation. And ragi, especially about the ragi, it is produced mostly in the southern states, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, but in some areas of North India like the Himachal Pradesh, or in some areas of Uttarakhand, we also produce ragi. Jowar and bajra and ragi, they required the less moisture, so they can well grown on sandy or loamy soils, or the soils those who not having the power to retain moisture for a long time. Then our next important crop is maize. The temperature required for maize, 21 degrees Celsius to, we can say 27 degrees Celsius. And maize is also food as well as fodder crop. And we know in the northern parts we grow the maize in both seasons, in Rabi as well as in Kharif crops. But in southern India, the maize grown in the Kharif season. Simple reason क्या है? साउथ इंडिया में विंटर सीजन आता ही नहीं है. they enjoys only the summer season throughout the year. So 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius temperature is required, and it also required very less moisture, or we can say the very less water is required for maize crop. And then another point for this maize crop, it is also well grown on loamy soil. The next crop is pulses. Pulses, as we know, a kind of varieties of pulses we grow in our country. Moong, arhar, tuar, gram. Okay, so different type of pulses we grow in our country. So that is a very essential part of our food, we can say, because they provide the nutrients and protein. Pulses are the source of protein, and mainly these are the very helpful for the farmers also. Actually, when farmer grow the pulses in their farm, it release the nitrogen in the soil. The roots of pulses, it release the nitrogen in the soil, and after this pulses make land fertile. It increases the fertility of the soil. Only one pulse, that is known as sesamum, arhar. This pulse is not leave the nitrogen in soil. Otherwise, all the pulses, moong, tur, urad, they release the nitrogen in the soil and increase the fertility of soil. So these are some important food crops that grown in our country: rice, wheat, millets, maize, under millets, some coarse grains. Coarse grains means mota anaj, jowar, bajra, ragi, and then maize, that is also a type of coarse grain, and then pulses. After this, there are some other crops that we produces in our country. Oil seeds. In India, in different parts, farmers produce oil seeds. First of all, the important oil seed mainly that is used by the Indian population, that is Indian people, that is groundnut oil, or second is mustard oil. But not only these two, groundnut or mustard. Farmers also produce sunflower, til, sesamum, and even the soya bean is also used to produce oil. So the oil seeds, nearly out of these, the groundnut, it is nearly fulfill the requirement of 50% of Indian population. जो हमारा एडिबल ऑयल है उसकी 50% जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, दैट इज फुलफिल्ड बाय द ग्राउंडनट ऑयल. सो आफ्टर ऑयल सीड्स we have some other food crops, those who are very important, like sugarcane, We can say it is also required 21 degrees Celsius to 27 or nearly 30 degrees Celsius temperature, and it also required rainfall above 100 centimeter. This crop, sugarcane, comes under the annual crop. It never comes under the Rabi, Kharif or Zaid season. It takes nearly almost 1 year to complete. So sugarcane is also known as the commercial crop, because the maximum production of sugarcane that goes to the sugar industry. And India is also the largest producer, second largest producer after Brazil in the production of sugar, and we can say the first or the largest producer in the production of jaggery, gur, khansari और different type of molasses. Molasses means जो हम दूसरी तरह की चाशनी या फिर कुछ और जो प्रोडक्ट्स हम गन्ने से, शुगर केन से तैयार करते हैं. एंड द उत्तर प्रदेश इज द लार्जेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर दिस टाइम इन आवर कंट्री, एंड इवन द महाराष्ट्र और गुजरात, इवन इन साउथ इंडिया. सो द फार्मर्स आल्सो फोकसिंग दिस टाइम on the more production of sugar cane. So this is a totally commercial crop. The next another crop is that is rubber. Rubber is also commercial crop that comes under the plantation agriculture, and it required nearly hot and humid climate. Hot and humid climatic conditions are required for rubber plantation, and maximum rubber plantation lies in the regions of those who receive more than 200 centimeter rainfall, like Meghalaya. In northeastern region of India, Meghalaya, it receives more than 200 centimeter annual rainfall. So that's why the rubber also grown in well condition in Meghalaya, and it is totally commercial crop because it is mostly required in the tire tube industry or in the plastic industry or even some constructional. The companies, those who make the constructional material, they also use the rubber. Then our next important crop is tea and coffee. Tea and coffee, as we know, Assam is famous for tea production. And Assam is the largest producer in our country in the tea production, and we know a very large plantations are there in Assam. But not only Assam, some areas of West Bengal, and even in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, even in some areas of South India like Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. So these regions also produce tea. But Assam is very famous for its different varieties of tea qualities. Then coffee. You know, India is worldwide famous for its coffee quality, Arabica. This quality, Arabica quality, brought in our country from Yemen, and it is in very great demand in the world market. So India is also producing the tea and coffee, and both crops are well grown in the Assam, West Bengal, Uttarakhand, Himachal, and in southern India, and coffee mostly grown in the Karnataka region. Coffee mostly grown in the southern areas, some area that lies in the Karnataka or in Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu. Clear? Then one another important crop we can say, that is not a single crop, they comes under the all of these comes under the horticulture. Horticulture means the production of fruits, flowers and vegetables. Fruits, flowers and vegetables. All these comes under the horticulture. A kind of vegetables, a lot of kind of vegetables we produce in our country, and even some parts of India, some regions, they are specially famous for some different type of fruits. Even dry fruits also produced on a large scale in our country. In Jammu Kashmir, the dry fruits, Jammu Kashmir is famous for the walnut, for the almonds. Even in the South India, the Kerala, that is famous for the cashew. And we know the Nagpur, very famous for oranges. Even the Meghalaya, that is famous for its pineapples. So different kind of fruits we grow in our country, as well as flowers also. Then next, some other different type of crops produced by the Indian farmers in our country. They are the fiber crops. Under fiber crops, silk, cotton and jute. Silk, both these two we produce on soil in farms, and silk, for silk, the production of silk is known as the sericulture, because it is produced through the silkworms. Silkworms means रेशम के कीड़े, and they require the mulberry leaves, शहतूत के पत्ते इनको चाहिए. And silk, that is very costly fiber. It takes a very long process to make threads, or we can say the fabrics from the silk, or it is also a very long process to take the fabrics from the silk cocoons. Cotton, as we know, India is very famous for its cotton textile industry from its ancient time, and we know the mainly Gujarat, Maharashtra, mainly these regions are famous for the cotton production. And cotton is well produced on the black soil. And we know the peninsular plateau of India, that is made up of igneous and metamorphic rocks. That's why the area of Gujarat and Maharashtra, and even in some southern states, they are having the black soil, and black soil is suitable for the cotton production. The next is jute. Jute is mostly produced in West Bengal, because we have the area near the Hooghly river. It required the very high moisture, or we can say hot and humid type of climate, and it also required water, abundant water for irrigation. And Hooghly water, or we can say the Ganga, provide a lot of water to this jute crop in the West Bengal region. Even in some parts of Bihar, or even in Jharkhand, we also produces jute. and maximum jute industry in our country, they lies in the West Bengal. So dear students, these are the some important crops that produced in our country. So the climatic conditions, soil, rainfall, or the conditions, other conditions, those who are required for all these crops, I'll send you a PDF file, so through which you can better understand the conditions that are required for these different crops. Okay, and these conditions are also given in your NCERT book also, in your textbook also. So the next topic in this chapter, so this is all about the important crops that we produce in our country, that we grow in our country. The another important topic in this chapter is the technical and institutional reforms. As you know, more than 60% population of India is depend on agriculture, or we can say that is engaged in the agricultural activities directly or indirectly. So when we got independence in 1947, so that time Indian agriculture was not in good condition, because farmers of India, they were facing a lot of problems. So after that, our government, they formed some technical and institutional reforms. Technical and institutional reforms means from during the Britishers' time, the zamindari system was there. So the maximum concentration of land lies under the zamindars, landlords. Even the maximum farmers of India, they were without land, or they were as a landless farmer. वो खेती तो करते थे लेकिन अपनी जमीन पर नहीं, लैंडलॉर्ड्स या फिर जमींदारों की जमीन पर. So government took some steps to improve the condition of Indian farmers from 1960 to 70. What happened? Some reforms done by the Indian government. सबसे पहले क्या किया? First of all, collectivization of land and consolidation of holdings. Collectivization क्या? कि जिस बड़े जमींदार के पास जो जमीनें थी, वो क्या की गई? They were taken back from the zamindars. And even the farmers, those who were having the small plot of land, even in different areas, जो scattered areas में उनकी लैंड बिखरी हुई थी, उनको एक जगह पर लाकर ऑन ए सिंगल प्लेस द गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइडेड देम एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड. एक किसान के मान लीजिए 4 एकड़ जमीन है किसी गांव के अंदर, 1 एकड़ यहां पे है, 1 यहां पे, 1 एकड़ यहां और 1 यहां. So the farmer is not able to use the machinery or the tools in a well systematically way. So government क्या करती है? Government provide him all his agricultural land in a single area. Land records रखने start किए जाते हैं. Government started keeping the land record, and you know who keeps this land record in your area? Patwari and then Tehsildar. These both having the land record and the complete data of agricultural land. So this is called the consolidation of land holdings, कि जो अलग अलग जमीन बिखरी पड़ी थी उसको एक जगह किसान को प्रोवाइड की गई. एंड इवन द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एबोलिश जमींदारी सिस्टम. जिन जमींदारों के पास जमीनें थी वो उनसे वापस ले ली गई. इवन आफ्टर दैट वी नो white revolution, green revolution, these both are also related to the institutional reforms. Green Revolution in 1960s, during the 1960s, and in the White Revolution, they both helped in to improve the condition of agriculture in India. The major reason behind starting this Green Revolution, to increase the food production, to make large area under the agriculture. And the White Revolution, that is also regarding the improvement in the production of milk or in the animal rearing. To increase the animal rearing in India, the government of India started White Revolution, and to increase the food production, the food crops production, they started the Green Revolution. And to support this, they earlier started the 5-year plans in India. What is 5-year plan? Actually, government, first of all, government set a target. गवर्नमेंट एक टारगेट सेट करती है कि अगले नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्स तक हमें अपना जो एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोडक्शन है इन व्हीट, पर्टिकुलर इन राइस, पर्टिकुलर इन शुगर केन, कि हमें इतने मीट्रिक जो टन हमारा प्रोडक्शन होता है उससे हमें इसको अगले नेक्स्ट लेवल तक लेकर जाना है. फर्स्ट दे फिक्स द टारगेट एंड देन नेक्स्ट इन द 5 इयर्स दे वर्क ओवर इट. तो उन 5 सालों में उस सेट किए हुए टारगेट को अचीव करने के लिए वर्क किया जाता है. और ये जो 5-year प्लान्स हैं, दे आर नॉट ओनली रिलेटेड टू द एग्रीकल्चरल इंप्रूवमेंट, दे आर रिलेटेड टू द अदर सेक्टर्स आल्सो. इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोडक्शन है, जो वाटर मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम है, और बहुत सारे ऐसे सिस्टम्स हैं, दोज हु कम्स अंडर द 5-year प्लान. And even to help the Indian farmers, Indian government also launched some schemes also. For example, they started issuing the Kisan credit card. Some cooperative banks also established in different parts of India. You know, the cooperative banks, they provide the loan or the loan on the cheap interest rate to the farmers, through which the farmers can purchase HYV seeds, machinery, or even fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides for their agricultural activities. And even that is not given in the book. The newly in 2015, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, specially he launched a special TV channel for farmers of India, DD Kisan, to help the Indian farmers. This particular channel gives the information to the different type of crops and helps the farmers and discuss the different issues, those who are related to the farmers. And even the government of India also started some different agricultural bulletins, means news, especially news. Those who listen the radio, they know very well, at I think nearly at every day evening time, Kisan, means there is a program that is related to the Indian farmers. So this is about the institutional and technical reforms done by the Indian government after the independence to provide help or to support the Indian farmers. And then a very small topic that is given, Bhudan and Gramdan, that is also related to the work done by the Indian government after independence, after getting independence. So Bhudan and Gramdan, that is like a story. You know the Vinoba Bhave, he was a spiritual heir of the Mahatma Gandhi, means गोद लिया हुआ एक पुत्र, एक बेटा. So he was very we can say the great follower of Mahatma Gandhi. महात्मा गांधी जी ने एक कल्पना की थी कि हमारे जो गांव हैं, द इंडियन विलेजेस शुड बी द ग्राम स्वराज्य, कि हमारे जो गांव हैं वो सेल्फ सफिशिएंट होने चाहिए. मीन्स किसी के पास भी ऐसा ना हो कि रोजगार ना हो और खाने के लिए ना हो. टू मेक सेल्फ सफिशिएंट So there was an ideology of Mahatma Gandhi that was known as the Gram Swarajya. So Vinoba Bhave started spreading these kind of ideas in the different parts of India, in the different villages related to the Gram Swarajya. So when he was during his journey, there was a village in Andhra Pradesh, Pochampalli. So in Pochampalli, he was delivering his lecture about the Gram Swarajya. Means एक गांव की जो हम एक रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, हाउ कैन वी फुलफिल द रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ ए विलेज, कि लोगों को काम के लिए बाहर ना जाना पड़े, कि लोगों का एम्प्लॉयमेंट या फिर फूड से रिगार्डिंग जो जुड़ी हुई प्रॉब्लम्स है वो गांव में ही सॉल्व हो जाए, हर एक के पास एम्प्लॉयमेंट हो. तो उस पोचमपल्ली विलेज में, इन दैट पोचमपल्ली विलेज, सम लैंडलेस फार्मर्स, they raised their issue in front of Vinoba Bhave. They said, Vinoba Bhave ji, all about the Gram Swarajya that you are talking about, that is very good. But we are landless farmers. What we can do? We don't have any agricultural land. So how can we survive? So that time Vinoba Bhave didn't promise them. उनके पास ऐसा तो नहीं था कि एग्रीकल्चर लैंड थी, चलो मैं तुम्हें देता हूं. बट दैट टाइम देयर वाज अनदर पर्सन विद विनोबा भावे. ही वाज श्री रामचंद्र रेड्डी. सो आफ्टर लिसनिंग द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ 80 लैंडलेस विलेजर्स ऑफ पोचमपल्ली विलेज, श्री रामचंद्र रेड्डी सडनली ऑन द सेम टाइम ही अनाउंसेस, नो प्रॉब्लम, आई विल गिव यू द लैंड फॉर एग्रीकल्चर. और उसी टाइम श्री रामचंद्र रेड्डी ने क्या किया, उन 80 लैंडलेस विलेजर्स को 80 एकड़ जमीन दे दी. नाउ दिस आइडिया स्प्रेड इन द डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया. नाउ अनदर जमींदार्स और द लैंडलॉर्ड्स, दे आल्सो स्टार्टेड गिविंग देयर लैंड्स टू द लैंडलेस विलेजर्स. दिस इंसिडेंट इन पोचमपल्ली विलेज, इट वाज नोन एज द भूदान. अब जो बड़े बड़े जमींदार थे, उन्होंने अपनी जमीनें जो थी वो दान करनी शुरू कर दी, और इस एक्ट को कहा गया भूदान आंदोलन. और उसके बाद जब बहुत बड़े बड़े जो जमींदार थे, उन्होंने अपने पूरे गांव की जो जमीनें थी, दे रिलीज्ड, दे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड अमंग द लैंडलेस फार्मर्स, देन दिस मूवमेंट वाज नोन एज द ग्रामदान. मीन्स द लैंडलेस विलेजर्स, दे गॉट एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड. और इस तरह से ये जो एक मूवमेंट विनोबा भावे ने चलाया, इट वाज नोन एज द भूदान ग्रामदान आंदोलन और भूदान ग्रामदान मूवमेंट. एंड यू नो, दिस वाज द फर्स्ट ब्लडलेस रेवोल्यूशन इन इंडिया, कि जिसमें किसी का खून नहीं बहा. एंड पीपल, द लैंडलॉर्ड्स एंड जमींदार्स वर रेडी टू गिव, टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट देयर लैंड अमंग द लैंडलेस विलेजर्स. So these kind of technical and institutional reforms done by the Indian government after independence. So students, I hope this is enough for today's lecture. So what we discussed, you have to check through your textbook. I'll send you the PDF file and I'll send some notes to you. You have to write down them in your fair notebook and you have to revise them. And you have to learn all the important question answers. So when we will meet, so then I'll check your notebooks and give you remarks. So till then, goodbye.